Beauty and the Beast premiered this last week.
Yeah.
And I got to see it opening night. And I gotta tell you, man, I've got mixed feelings about this one.
Really?
I really do. And some of the reasons are because of, like, going into it, I didn't realize that it was a musical, okay?
They really did not play that up very
Didn't
much
play
in
it
the,
up a lot
in
in the
previews.
trailer, so it was surprising to me when, you know, they get past the whole exposition scene of why the beast is the beast, and they actually acted it out. You know, it actually showed it going instead of, like, in the animated movie, it's a series of images of stained glass.
All right, so real quick then, my question, is the prince a kid or an adult?
He's an adult.
Okay.
He is
because
an adult.
that's been like a plot hole with the Beauty and the Beast for a really long time, is that based on the timeline, people point out, like, he should be like 11 years old.
Right. No, it doesn't really go into any of that, and I think they did that intentionally because of that whole plot hole with the animated movie. They don't talk about his age. They don't talk about how long he's been there.
Mm-hmm.
So after that initial scene, and then they start doing the bonjour, bonjour, that song, I'm like, okay, so this is just a remake of the animated movie.
Yep.
Okay, and I did notice that, like, maybe a few lyrics are changed here and there, maybe a verse added here and there. I'm not altogether sure. I don't know all the words to the songs by heart.
Right.
There were a few songs that were added
to
the movie. Like, The Beast has a song.
Really?
A short song around, like, the end of the second act.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever Belle goes to save her father. But there's a few things in here that they kind of dwell on that they don't in the animated movie, like Belle's mother and father. We don't get to see a whole lot of Belle's father. He plays a much bigger role in this one, played by Kevin Kline, who's awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
He plays a much bigger role in this one, more into the backstory of him and her mother, why she's not around. We get to find out what happened to her, the fact that they grew up in Paris and then moved to this little village. So that kind of plays into it and kind of adds a little more depth to the character of Belle and to Belle's father. I got to tell you, though, for me, I think Belle was miscast. I don't really see... Emma Watson just wasn't believable for me as Belle. She's supposed to be the most beautiful girl in the village, and to me, she's just kind of... I mean, Emma Watson is just a very plain-looking girl. I'm not saying she's ugly.
Disagree with that.
I'm not saying she's ugly. She's very pretty, but is she like the hottest girl ever? Of course not. That's just silly to even think that.
I think that she is beautiful.
Well, and you're allowed different strokes for different folks, dude. I think, though, the one who stole the show for me was Gaston. Mm-hmm. And he was the one that I had the most reservation towards going into it. But that dude, Gaston was very over the top in the animated movie. The guy who played it fucking nailed it.
Nice.
Nailed it. Just this narcissistic slime ball. And he just did such a great job.
That actor is it's kind of interesting. He played the Bard in the Hobbit movies. The guy that actually kills Smaug with the black arrow.
Right.
He played that character in the Hobbit movies, and I've seen him in some other stuff, and I can never remember his name. He's knockoff Orlando Bloom.
He does kind of resemble Orlando Bloom, but he's a lot bigger than Orlando Bloom.
Bloom's a slender fella.
Yeah.
But I read an interview that he had done where he was talking about how he initially wanted to play Gaston, and he was saying that he had kind of built up a backstory that included, like, some PTSD and, like, character reasons. They do mention the fact that he's, like, a war hero from some war that happened and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I can see that a lot. I will tell you another thing that I found
interesting, or at least different, about this telling of the story is that they really put a lot of emphasis on the fact that the inhabitants of the castle, like Lumiere and Cogsworth and, the Miss Potts and all that kind of stuff, and Chip, who was great, by the way.
Really? The little kid that plays Chip?
Yeah, and he rides his saucer like it's a skateboard throughout the castle. It's great.
Oh my God.
It sounds dumb when I say it, but just watch it and you'll be like, oh no, that is really cool. But they really put a lot of emphasis on the fact that those characters were originally humans, originally worked for the prince, whereas I don't recall in the animated movie, and I may be wrong, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I don't recall them really going into that detail, and it being kind of a surprise to me at the end of the movie that, they were actually real people.
I mean, and granted, I watched that movie for the first time 23 years ago.
Right, yeah.
So I don't remember if I was surprised when they all turned back, but I also, and I've watched it several times in the intervening years, but it's still been several since I saw it last. I don't remember there being much mention of them turning back into humans.
It's just kind of a scene at the end of the movie. And in this one, it's all like, if the beast falls in love before the last petal falls, then we'll all turn human again. That kind of thing. And so they put a lot of emphasis on that, which I don't recall. Yeah, in the original animated movie.
I mean,
like I said,
we remember it happening in the original animated movie, so I guess I'm glad.
But Lumiere was Ewan McGregor, and that's the thing, man. When we first saw the trailer, I didn't realize it was Ewan McGregor. I remember you telling me that, and then I went and saw the movie and totally forgot it was Ewan McGregor until he turns back into his human form. I'm like, oh wait a second, it's Ewan McGregor. Yeah, and then Ian McKellen. Yeah, also as Cogsworth. Turning into Ian McKellen. I was like, hey, oh shit, that's Ian McKellen, and they're like, oh shit, that's Stanley Tucci. So those were surprises to me, and I think that speaks to their acting ability, that you just forget that they're those people. Yeah. With the exception of Emma Watson, because she always is just Emma Watson. Yeah. I don't really, she, I think, was the weakest point of the whole movie, was her character.
See, and obviously, and I haven't seen the movie
and her singing is just okay. Yeah. I will tell you this, though. Angela Lansbury is still alive. She should have done Miss Potts.
Who? Do you remember who played Miss Potts?
No, I looked it up and then immediately forgot.
Yeah, I remember looking up the cast list and recognizing who was playing Mrs. Potts, but it didn't stick with me at all.
All right, but overall, of course, I'd recommend it. It was good. It's a good family movie. There's some controversy surrounding it, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But it's Beauty and the Beast, and it's a Disney movie, so the production was top notch. I will say this though, in a way, I kind of felt like I was watching a stage production in some scenes, and I think when you go see it tonight, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also, what was I gonna say? I totally just drew a blank. I'm sorry. It was good. Yeah, just go see it.
Well, okay, I will. Disney. I will say, for many people that grew up in, especially,
I know what I was going to say. Sorry, I hate to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
But throughout the whole movie, I kind of felt like, since when I figured out, okay, this is basically just a retelling of the retelling, and that they're doing a lot of the same songs and stuff. Was this movie ever really necessary? And I kind of just want to go home and watch the animated movie instead. I will say that.
Well, and that kind of plays to the question that I was about to ask. For many people, specifically in my generation, I was born in 87, so Beauty and the Beast was 92.
Oh, wow, so you were super young.
Yeah, I was super young when it came out.
I was born in 81, so I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah, so, kids specifically from my generation and younger, Beauty and the Beast is their favorite Disney movie of all time. And I could see this movie not being what they're looking for.
Right.
And if Beauty and the Beast is their favorite Disney movie of all time, does this let those people down?
I think they might just feel kind of like I did, it's cool, but it's not the same. It's definitely, and when you look back at those nostalgic movies that you loved when you were a kid, as an adult, you kind of have your nostalgia goggles on.
I don't know. When they I loved Aladdin when I was a kid, and I watched it a couple of years ago, and it's fucking terrible.
What?
Yeah.
You're terrible. All right, so
Robin Williams is still great as the genie, but the movie is terrible.
yeah. All right, so overall, yes, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's a good date movie. Kids are probably gonna love it. Even though I went with my girlfriend and her 4-year-old, there were some scenes that were a little scary for her, the 4-year-old, not my girlfriend. And it was funny just, kind of watching her be scared of the beast at the beginning and then watch her really sympathize with the beast at the end. So, so Disney is doing a good job in making, that point where something that may be scary at first, you end up, seeing the other side of this world.
Yeah.
But there's a whole other thing that we need to talk about when it comes to this movie.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it.